Well, it is all over. After ending a 16-year playoff drought with 2 All-Stars, 2 possible All-NBA players, a rookie who broke the record for most three-pointers made in a single season by a rookie, the NBA's first clutch player of the year, a coach of the year in Mike Brown, the season is finally over. And before I start talking about Game 7 of Kings vs. Warriors and the entire series itself, I just want to really quickly say thank you to everyone who watches all my videos. This was the first season that I started making basketball content. It means a lot to see how much we've grown in just this short span. It's overall just crazy. With all that out of the way, it's finally time to talk about the absolute garbage we saw today. I'm going to start off with probably the most obvious topic about why the Kings lost today in Game 7, and that is rebounding. And it's not even just Game 7 that we've struggled with this. It's actually the entire series. Rebounding has been terrible. Kevon Looney, who averaged less than 10 rebounds in the regular season, averaging 15 in this playoff series. But then you have Sabonis, who averaged 11 rebounds in the playoffs and actually averaged 15 in the regular season. It was overall just terrible rebounding this entire series. It killed us every single time. All I could think about after the game was how the hell was Domantas Sabonis the leading rebounder in the NBA for the regular season? It was just absolutely terrible. And Sabonis did say that things are a little bit different when you're going up against a three-point shooting team. It is a lot harder to rebound a missed three than it is just someone who drove into the paint and you're guarding them and you're right there and you can just grab it. So that is understandable. But at the same time, after 7 games, you have to be able to adapt to that. And I feel like you should know that as well going into that game, that they're going to be shooters and that you kind of maybe have to space out a little bit more when grabbing your rebounds. I don't know. It was just terrible effort from them. I mean, just in the third quarter alone of Game 7, the Warriors out-rebounded the Kings 22-9. The Kings were leading the game at the half, and just after that, it just got killed. It just absolutely died. It was disgusting to watch. And you just have to give players like Kevon Looney their credit for what they did in this series. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my team. I love every single player on the Sacramento Kings, and I never go out of my way to try to tear someone down on the team. But there were 3 people specifically that either didn't play up to their expectations or just didn't play like themselves. Starting off with one of the obvious ones being Domantas Sabonis. I feel like Domantas Sabonis wasn't who he was in the regular season. This playoffs, he just became different, and I think that a lot of that comes down to officiating. And Warriors fans, I know after you heard that, you started freaking out and commenting on my videos saying that I'm dumb and I'm trying to come up with excuses. It's not an excuse. I'm saying that in a way where he is a lot more physical in the regular season, and in the playoffs, it seems like they didn't let him be physical in the paint. I have a theory, okay? I have a theory that because of the Draymond Green stomp, officiating really changed, because before that, it was a very aggressive and physical series. After that, things kind of changed, especially in Game 7. A lot of really tic-tac fouls. It was a little weird. Not only watching it, but if you look at the stats, you can see that he really downgraded himself in the playoffs this year. It really just wasn't who we saw in the regular season. It wasn't that all NBA caliber player. It wasn't that all-star player that we saw. I mean, even in Game 7, the first half, he was solid. I think he had 16 points in the first half, and I'm like, oh, this is a Sabonis game. This is a game we've been waiting for from Sabonis, where he's in there and he's feasting in the paint. The second half, what the fuck happened? And I would sit here and say, oh, well, you know, he has a broken hand and, you know, his eyes busted. He's been getting beat up all year, not even in the playoffs alone, just beat up all year. So I can't really use that as an excuse. With that being said, I am really excited to see him next year with a fully healthy hand. But yeah, just looking at his stats as well, you just see he has lower assists, lower rebounds. It just wasn't good from Sabonis. That being said, I wasn't going to name names, but I'm just going to do it right now. Legend of Winning, I think is his name, Low, whatever the fuck his name is, went on Twitter and started tweeting out about how his take from a long time ago, where he said that the Sabonis and Halliburton trade was bad. He started going out and saying that he was right. And it really made me think. What did the Kings need to do to not have any Sabonis and Halliburton trade conversations come back up? Did they need to win a championship? Did they need to win a championship? Because in my opinion, and I think in every other Kings fan's opinion, we are happy with Sabonis. We are happy where he brought us. We are happy what he's done for this team. He was an all-star with De'Aaron Fox. We're not like upset at him. We don't hate him because maybe he had a bad playoff series. He brought us to the playoffs. We got into the first round. We got the experience. We pushed the reigning champions to a Game 7. I promise you, there is very few amount of Kings fans out there that would still choose Halliburton over Sabonis. I'm just gonna get that out of the way. Legend of Winning, whatever the fuck. I don't know if you're watching this or if somehow this will get to you, but this is the stupidest shit I've seen on my timeline. And I know damn well that even if the Kings made it past the first round with Sabonis maybe playing good and they lost to the Lakers, because the Lakers are your favorite team, you would do the same thing where you say that the Sabonis and Halliburton trade was bad. It is so fucking stupid. Please shut up. Holy shit. Anyways, next player on my list is Harrison Barnes. I'm not gonna say that that Harrison Barnes is on this list because he missed one of the biggest shots in the series and a shot that really could have changed the trajectory of this entire series? No, that's not why he's on this list. He's on this list because compared to what he did in the regular season, he did not play like himself in the playoffs, and it was just terrible to watch. Really, his main thing being scoring. I feel like in the regular season, Harrison Barnes was a guy you could rely on to get in and get a basket. He was not that. I think he scored like 7 points almost every single game. It was just disgusting to watch. And with him being a free agent, it will be very interesting to see what the Kings do, because I really think Harrison Barnes has a huge part on this team. He's a really good veteran. He's great leadership for this team. But at the same time, if you want to grow your team, if you want to become a better team and improve your team over the offseason, you need to look for someone better than Harrison Barnes in this role. That's just what it comes down to. I'd love to have him on the bench. I'd love to have him maybe as a backup. That'd be great. But as a starting forward, I really don't see it happening. And the last player I have on here, probably the most obvious one I have here to talk about, was Kevin Huerter. Kevin Huerter tricked us all. He started this year by having one of the best three-point shooting years of all time and was just really a huge part of the team, made us a really big threat from deep, and then he had a slump. And during this slump, it was a little scary because you're like, what the fuck happened to Kevin Huerter? But you know what? He got through his slump. He came back and was super good. I'm saying after All-Star break, he was shooting at, I think it was 42% from three. He shot 20% from three in the playoffs. 20% in the playoffs. This is one of the best three-point shooters in the entire league. Couldn't hit shit. And at the end of game 6, he started hitting a couple threes. I think he shot like 2 or 3, which got me hyped. I'm like, okay, he got his groove back. He's starting to knock some shots down. I'm starting to think to myself, Kevin Huerter is starting to see these buckets go in and starting to get more confident, which means surely that come game 7, he's going to come back. He's going to be hitting every three. We're going to see a Kevin Huerter masterclass. He shot 1 for 6 from 3 in one of the biggest games. No, not one of. In the biggest game of the entire season. 1 of 6. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, we need to trade Kevin Huerter. We need to get rid of him. Because I feel like that's just a lot of recency bias bullshit that I'm seeing. And I just simply don't agree with it. I feel like he just had a really bad series. We know that this man can perform in the playoffs. Okay, we saw it in Atlanta. He can perform in the playoffs. It was just a rough series. He's young. He's going to get through it. It's okay. I feel like as long as he comes back next year and doesn't let this performance affect him mentally, and he can still go out there and hit those shots, that's all that matters. It's okay. It's perfectly fine. Who cares? Another player who was honestly really close to getting on this list was Keegan Murray. The first 3 games, Keegan Murray was pretty much pointless in this team, averaging almost 16 minutes and getting no more than 5 points in the first 3 games. And this is someone who was actually a huge part in the Kings team. I know that sounds crazy with him being a rookie, but he was one of the best three-point shooters on the team, and we know that because of the record he broke. So seeing him perform like that in the first couple games was really scary. I thought, dang, maybe he's not ready for this, which is, like I said, is understandable because he's a rookie. But he switched out around. He really switched out around. After game 3, he really stepped it up and became more confident in himself and his shots. So yeah, it is very exciting to see him be able to really go in and do that as a rookie. It is just so amazing. There's no other rookie in the playoffs right now that has that big of an impact on a team as Keegan Murray does. And I think he gets really undervalued when it comes to rookie talk because this man has really done a lot for this team, and they're the 3rd seed. So yeah. And to all the Warriors fans who may be watching this, I will not lie to you. I will be rooting against you in the 2nd round. I feel like that's just the nature of sports. I feel like I don't really have to explain myself in that. It's nothing personal, okay? I just want to see the team that beat my team get knocked the fuck out. With that being said, Lakers in 6, and yeah, man, the Kings weren't supposed to be here. The Kings really weren't supposed to be here. And when I say they weren't supposed to be here, I mean by media and everyone who made their predictions. It still disturbs me to this day that people predicted the Portland Trailblazers being above the Sacramento Kings in the power rankings. I did not forget that shit. I did not forget that because that was just pure disrespect. And I'm really happy to see that this year the Kings were put on the map and things are going to change next year. They're really going to change. With that being said, thank you guys again for watching this video. It really does mean a lot. I will still continue uploading about the playoffs, and I will still have off-season content coming as well. So don't worry about it. But to all my Kings fans out there, it's okay. It's a small step. Okay, what did Giannis say? Failure is a step to success, or whatever the fuck he said, whatever that coping shit he said, because y'all are the #1 seed and y'all are champions. It's a little bit different for us. Okay, I'm just saying. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys all enjoyed. I'll see you guys all in the next video. Later.